One vote passed the bill that has Iowa farmers waiting for a long overdue decision.
Well, the first forecast is warmer with sunshine, but we are going to get a taste of winter as we head through the next couple of days. Again, 27 this afternoon, 23 at 6 tonight, down to 20 overnight. Clouds roll in, some light snow overnight, more so early in the morning where we could pick up, a quick inch or so of snow. That'll affect your Thursday morning commute. Right now, nary a peep, barely a cloud out there in Cedar Rapids. It's sunny and 23, south and west wind at 14, feeling like 11. It's 25 Iowa City, 28 in Washington, 16 in Waterloo, and 7 in Dubuque. Those winds out of the south and west about 5 to 15. Wind chill anywhere from 5 below in Dubuque to 3 below in Oelwein to feeling like 17 in Washington. No clouds now, but coming up we'll talk about when those clouds move in and how much snow and specifically when it moves in and out. Coming up in about 10 minutes time. Jason?
Thanks, Justin. The U.S. House of Representatives passed a nearly $1 trillion farm bill this morning. The bill cuts food stamps and ends a direct subsidy to farmers while expanding government-backed crop insurance programs. The bill was more than a year overdue after congressional negotiators struggled to a compromise. A vote in the Senate could come as early as next week, and the bill is expected to pass.
On this vote, the yeas are 251, the nays are 166. The conference report is adopted.
The Agriculture Committee say the bill could save about $23 billion over 10 years. President Obama is kicking off a 2-day road trip to promote the economic ideas in his State of the Union address. The president used the speech to push for more opportunity for all Americans and to pitch proposals to tackle growing income inequality. Tara Mergener reports from Capitol Hill.
President Obama is taking his State of the Union message on the road. The first stop, a Costco in suburban Maryland.
Hello, Maryland.
The president is praising the company's CEO for paying employees more than the minimum wage.
He sees that if he's doing right by Costco's workers, then they can buy that 80-inch TV too.
Costco employees earn an average of $20.89 an hour, nearly 3 times the federal minimum wage.
There are a lot of Americans who don't work somewhere like Costco, and they're working for wages that don't go as far as they once did.
The president used the State of the Union speech to challenge Congress to raise the minimum wage and said he's taking action on his own to raise wages for federal contract workers.
Republicans say the president should be working with them.
I think it's not very conciliatory to say, my way or the highway, you either do what I want or I'm going to do it anyway.
The GOP is rejecting the president's call to raise the minimum wage. They say that will cost the country jobs. Tara Mergener for CBS News, Capitol Hill.
President Obama will continue his State of the Union tour with stops in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Tennessee. An eastern Iowa congressman is taking a stand against the proposal to cut renewable fuels. Representative Bruce Braley met with veterans yesterday to deliver a petition with more than 110,000 signatures opposing the move by the EPA. Braley says renewable fuels improve our economy and help America become more energy independent. Federal officials are considering lowering the amount of renewable fuels, like ethanol, required in the nation's gasoline. The harsh winter that's sweeping the entire country could soon affect your grocery bill. That's because beef prices are expected to go up. Farmers say cattle have died because severe weather in western states is reducing the amount of supply of the animals in market. In fact, it's been so bad for some farmers, they might be forced out of the business. What's worse, farmers say there's no quick fix because even if farmers take on extra calves to make up for this year, it will still be about 2 years before they're mature enough to be sold.
It's hard to look into the crystal ball and see the future, but just the fact that the cow herd was already so low historically, and then to lose all those cattle that perished out in those western states, definitely going to take a little bit of time to recover from that.
Farmers say it could also eventually affect the price of your steak, but not right away. A University of Iowa Athletics Department accountant is in hot water after auditors found thousands of dollars missing from ticket sales from a popular train that takes fans to Kinnick Stadium. 31-year-old Kathleen Willier was fired in November for failing to follow cash handling procedures. Auditors found that the university failed to make deposits for 2 football game tickets for the Hawkeye Express. It will cost the university around $66,000. Willier's husband says his wife disputes that any cash was missing and believes she is a scapegoat for long-standing problems. It's not your imagination. This winter is worse than usual. 20 ice and snow events hit the corridor so far this season, and we've seen 23 inches of snow. Both of those numbers are higher than an average winter, and city and state plowing crews say that means more salt to keep us safe on the streets and interstates. While crews used less than a decade ago, a brutal winter still takes a toll on our cars and trucks.
Salt is a catalyst for rust. The manufacturers are doing an incredibly great job of producing a car that will drive in excess of 200,000 miles. But the bodies won't take it. The bodies will, in essence, fall apart.
Barron says our cars are casualties in the war against winter. He says short of parking them in the garage all season or hitting the car wash every day, we'll all eventually have to deal with rust caused by salt. The extreme cold has officials warning residents about the danger of stepping onto Coralville Lake. The chill has added more layers of ice to the lake, but it's also reducing the flow of water under the ice. That means the water level has now dropped below the ice, creating a gap between the ice and the water. Ice unsupported by lake water is extremely unstable, and city workers are warning that no one should venture onto the ice right now. It looks like the show will go on for one historic corridor venue. The Hard Acre Theater in Tipton was shut down after it couldn't keep up with technology.
Oh, he knew too. He knew. Okay.
You would never think in the middle of the day that a marquee would shine as bright as this one.
Just an awesome sight to see. There's been so much work put into this project.
That work started nearly 2 years ago as several residents formed the Hard Acre Theater Preservation Association after the theater was forced to close its doors.
It's projecting 35mm film, and the movie industry doesn't do that anymore.
So the association began its fundraising quest, utilizing resources like Indiegogo to reach their $60,000 goal.
You try to put the doubt in the back of your mind. You get a little nervous, but we didn't lose hope.
That faith was rewarded as donations came in from everywhere.
There was a group of kids at the school who sold t-shirts. Another family sold pumpkins during the Halloween season and gave us the money.
$5 here, $10 there, a $40,000 donation as well. $114,000 later, the good news got to Brown.
Unfortunately, I was driving at the time, so I couldn't really jump up and down, but yeah, it was just a surreal moment.
The goal has been reached, but the work isn't over just yet. Phase 2 of the project will begin soon, and that will be a multi-million-dollar effort.
We want to keep the historical aspect of it, but there's a lot that needs to be done in terms of electricity, in terms of water.
And eventually the plan is to put in a digital projector, but that all comes later. Right now, the Theater Association is grateful this story is still on track for a happy ending. Now, the association says they hope to have everything up and running just in time for the theater's 100th anniversary in 2016. One local employer is offering a big incentive to help meet the rising demand for nurses. The shortage in the nursing industry is expected to grow as baby boomers age and the need for health care increases. Unity Point Health Living Centers is offering free classes for people who want to become certified nursing assistants.
Finally I could, pursue something that I want to do rather than going to a job I don't like doing every day.
Unity Point is partnering with Kirkwood Community College to provide the free training. 10 applicants will be selected, and after they are certified, they will be considered to work for one of the living centers. The program begins February 17th. The men's basketball team is packing Carver Stadium for the rest of the season. More than 15,000 fans were at Carver last night, and all home games for the rest of the season are sold out. The athletic department says it had extra security on hand and fully staffed concession stands. Traffic management is also a priority, especially on a weekday night.
It's unlike a Saturday afternoon where you're pulling into an empty lot.
There's just a feeling of electricity in the atmosphere at Carver right now.
The Ohio State game next Tuesday is also a 6 p.m. tip-off, so fans can expect to face a lot of the same congestion. Coming up on CBS 2 News, a major headache. Why some Georgia residents were forced to sleep in their cars last night. Plus, being recognized, the request that some college athletes are making that is changing the way some look at school athletics.
Well, we're going to find some warmer weather. We'll give you the details of some snowier weather and the details on a return to the cold coming up right here on the news at noon. Teens and 20s through the end of next week. And for those of you playing along at home, Mark your scorecard, 50 days away from the first day of spring as of today.
Normally that would get me excited, but
Yeah.
I remember specifically last year, early May, my birthday, it was snowing.
Yeah.
So I do not trust Mother Nature, and I do not trust that number.
143 days away from summer. Maybe that'll do something.
That's
for you.
more of a reliable number.
That'll do something.
I'll count on that one. Thank you, Justin.
You bet.
Appreciate it. Coming up next on CBS 2 News, a super comparison. What the Vatican has to say about a superhero mural of Pope Francis.
CBS 2 connects with a corridor. Call us at 1-800-222-KGAN. Email us at news@cbs2iowa.com or connect with us on Facebook at Facebook.com/KGAN CBS2. Listen throughout the day for your Weather First forecast on 98.1 KHOC, today's best country.
Well, people who live in the South are usually on the opposite end of severe weather, but today they're in the thick of it. Interstates in Georgia remained at a standstill this morning. Several inches of snow and numerous accidents caused massive traffic jams around Atlanta. Hundreds of drivers were trapped in their cars overnight, and many drivers abandoned their vehicles.
We can start pulling people from cars, taking gasoline to cars that have run out of gas.
A baby girl was born on a Georgia highway because the icy roads were too dangerous for her parents to get to a hospital in time. Hundreds of students had to sleep over at their schools because of the treacherous road conditions. Yesterday marked a historic day in the world of college sports. Northwestern University athletes have asked to be represented by a labor union. Yesterday, a majority of the football and basketball team formally filed a petition with the National Labor Board to form a union. College sports is a multi-billion-dollar industry across the country. Football at Northwestern brings in $29 million and men's basketball $18 million. Players don't actually get any of that money, so now they want to be recognized as employees and receive the rights and benefits afforded to regular workers.
The goal is to get players a voice. Right now we don't have a voice. Like I said, it's almost like a dictatorship where everything is put on us without our input, without our negotiation. Right now we just want a seat at the table.
The players want guaranteed medical coverage for current and former players, as well as compensation for commercial sponsorships. The NCAA disagrees with the petition, but it's up to the National Labor Board, which is debating the issue. A giant mural of the Pope, painted like a religious version of Superman, has appeared on the wall near the Vatican. Italians are dubbing the graffiti art Super Pope. The Vatican seems to approve. It tweeted a pic of the artwork that was signed Maupal 2014. While comic books show that Superman fighting for truth and justice, some say the artwork symbolizes Pope Francis's never-ending battle to eliminate corruption and bring the church together. Coming up on CBS 2 News, aging in Iowa, how area services can help simplify the process for the state's older residents. Well, the aging population is growing in the state of Iowa, and that means an increase in the need for health care services for Iowans. In this week's Health Matters segment, we are meeting with Angie McClure from Ridgeview Assisted Living and Meadowview Memory Care Village. Thank you for joining us today. We have some interesting statistics that we're going to put up here. When it comes to aging in Iowa, Iowa is home to more than 3 million people, and of those 3 million people, 620,000 are over the age of 60. That's 25%. Average life expectancy for males is 77.19 and 82.3% for females. And the sixth leading cause of death in the United States is Alzheimer's. So looking at all these statistics, what does that mean for Iowans?
Well, what that means is they need to educate themselves about resources that they might need in the future as they do age. Also, how are they going to pay for it? Who's going to walk them through that process? And those are important questions that they need to ask themselves.
What are some other important questions, like knowing what your options are? How do people figure out what their options are?
It's difficult. A lot of times people are put in a position where it's an emergent situation. So they may have only a couple days to make that decision and find out those resources. Individuals that are elder care experts like myself Hospital social workers, they can walk you through that process. And then there are a lot of local community resources like aging services.
Okay. How do you know when that time is right? How do you know when it's time to maybe stop living alone and maybe enter elder care?
That's a good question. For everyone, that's a little bit different, but in the healthcare industry, the 3 factors that we look at are they getting nutrition? Are they taking care of their hygiene? Are they having significant continued falls? Those are all factors that you need to look at for future safety in the home.
Okay. As you age, as you get older in age, how do you ensure that you live a sustained life, something you can live healthy, make sure that you age properly and age in a healthy way?
Well, our doctors are correct in saying that we always need to make sure we have a good balanced diet and exercise, and that's very important. A key factor, though, that we oftentimes forget is socialization. Keeping our minds clear includes engaging our brain on a consistent basis, and socialization includes quality of life and improves that. So I would say socialization is an important factor.
Okay, definitely. And obviously it's important to not go through this process alone. An elder care expert like yourself is a perfect person to have on board when you're trying to figure out these important decisions.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of people don't understand that we're available or that the education is available. So I mentioned to you prior to the broadcast that we do have resources. City Revealed has a senior expert column every month. You can pick that up at the local Hy-Vee free of charge. We have a resource guide that we provide free of charge, and they can always call me as well.
Okay, thank you very much. There are definitely resources out there if you need them, so definitely go out and use them.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much. Justin has your weather to go next. So check this out. While most of the South was dealing with a fresh layer of snow, this Texas dad made sure his kids got in on the perks of winter. This father says that his kids were disappointed when they didn't get a snow day, so he got a snow machine and made one himself. He let his kids stay home for the day, and he bought 400 pounds of artificial snow. His neighbors even decided to join in on the fun as well.
I would have sold him 500. Give him a great deal on it, too.
Yeah, turn that machine on for a couple of hours or a couple of days and see what happens. And
welcome to Iowa.
Yeah,
turn it
exactly.
on for a week.
You know what we're dealing with.
Let's go outside. We're warming up here. We're finding temps in the mid and upper 20s this afternoon. Clouds move in tonight. Snow overnight. Here's what we've got for you right now in Cedar Rapids. Still looking at 23 degrees. Winds out of the west and south at 14. Clouds will move in. We'll have some light snow tomorrow morning. Trace to a couple inches for your drive. We'll dry out Thursday night. It will be cold, and then teens for Friday, Saturday, with another dusting of snow Friday night into Saturday, about an inch.
All right, Justin, that's your news at noon for today. Join us back here tonight at 5 for the top stories covering the corridor. Have a great afternoon.